What is going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets 4. We have Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We keep telling you guys it's our last episode, and we keep showing up. So hopefully you guys are entertained. Before we get into the matchup of tonight, Betsky, how we doing?
Oh, pretty good. Been just living in the pool all week. It's been so freaking hot. So I'm turning into a white wine drinker because of it too. Just
That's a new chapter in your life, though. That's a fun, why not?
I put it in the ice cooler and just chill. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Is that in the forecast tonight too?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to get shockingly, I'm saying this. I'd like to get a quick workout in maybe during the first period or before the game. But then, we're going straight back to the pool.
Straight back to the white wine.
Get a couple white wine bottles. I may even throw some shrimp in the mix today and really get down with it. So,
yeah, it's only Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals once,
Yeah.
Gotta live it up. Franco, how we doing out there in Philly? White wine in the forecast for you or not so much?
No, I'm good on that.
Okay.
I've had some bad experiences with wine, so no go for me there. But excited for this game. Excited for Game 7. Hopefully, let's push it to one more. What the hell? Why not? Right?
I'm fine with it.
I don't know, man. At this point, I was rooting for Florida coming into the series, and the consensus is that Florida is the better team, and all that fun stuff. But to come back from 3-0 with McDavid, we're seeing just the best player in the world showing what he can do, and it just feels more right for that to happen at this point.
I know.
Exactly. And last but not least, we have Adam joining us as well. Adam, how's it going?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing tonight?
Great. Awesome. Great. Excited for a good matchup. Anything else before we kind of get into this? Betsky, you said you have the script, so I'm excited to see what you have to say tonight. With that being said, though, let's get into the matchup of the night and the Seoul Game 6 Stanley Cup Finals. We keep saying it again. Can Edmonton do it? They've done it every single time. I'll start with you here, Betsky. What's the script for tonight?
Well, I was being a little facetious there.
Okay.
But because I joined pre-stream and I said, you guys ready for the last game? So I'll paint the Panthers script out here, all right?
Oh, it's the Panthers.
Well, I said it was the last game. So it had to be.
True. Yep.
Yeah. I may not believe it, but this is the way the Panthers are going to win. We're going to get another heroic game from Tkachuk. There's no way he's not feeding off of that absolutely wild, maybe play of the entire playoff so far, preventing the empty netter in the last game where he sprawled out and he got it right at the last second. He also was kind of trying to pump up the team after that stinker, the 1-8 loss. Came out, put up 2 points, 4 shots, had 6 attempts. He's a player on the rise here. It's been something Florida's really been missing is that second line. They've been getting most of their production from Rodriguez and Barkov on the top, and then Tarasenko and Lundell on the third line. Last game with Tkachuk kind of getting the monkey off his back, I think he's going to keep riding that. I think that is going to be the determining factor here for if the Panthers are to be able to pull this one off. So I think that second line with Verhaeghe, Bennett, who's also been very good at kind of wrecking the Oilers, and Tkachuk get back on the swing of things. Panthers get an early lead here, kind of crack Stuart Skinner a little bit. Bob has a nice big bounce back performance, and the Panthers take it 4-2 with an empty net goal because, drumroll please, McDavid can't do the same thing Tkachuk did by preventing the empty netter.
Wow.
He sprawled out on the ice, flying across, and he just misses it this time.
That's a script. I think the Florida Panthers have the 2 saves of the postseason. Bobrovsky in the first round, that behind-the-back save. So I think those are the 2 contenders. Adam, what's your script for tonight looking like? Who are you backing any sides or totals?
I'm probably going to do probably on the side part. I'm probably going to do that live. I think the script really, from a betting standpoint, or at least from me, I'm going to wait till I see what happens in the first period. I think the first period is really instrumental into this game and the way the game starts. If you think about it, the first 3 games, 2 out of the first 3 games that they won, they scored first. They came back when Ekholm scored in game 2, I believe it was. But I really think, and Paul Maurice kind of hinted at it at his press conference after the last game, that they're going to come out pretty damn strong. So I really like Florida to come out strong in this game. I have a couple bets that I'll go over here in just a little bit, kind of pertaining to that first period in narrative. But I really think that if Florida gets out to a lead early, I think I'm going to bet a in-game under, because that's really what they really kind of how they play. They kind of play the defensive zone, clog up the neutral zone and kind of just let them not get Edmonton kind of get going through the neutral zone. But if Edmonton gets out to the lead, I'm going to bet an in-game over. If Edmonton starts to play this game where they're up 1, that means Florida's going to be open up to the kind of how Edmonton wants to play, and that's going to go. So I really think it's going to be a in-game side in total bet for me. So nothing pregame.
Yeah. Franco, it looks like Betsky is leading Florida here, or is taking Florida. Adam's leading Florida. Are you echoing that statement, or are you going to back the Oilers here to force a Game 7?
Values there either way, which it feels like it's the first time in this series where we've had, a pick 'em almost, at least close to a pick 'em sidewise. So that kind of feels nice. So if you do have a side you really like, I don't mind sprinkling something live or pregame, sorry. And, add to it live if you like it. It's tough. I've been back and forth on it all day. Again, I think that the Panthers still coming into this game are the better team. And I think that's really not arguable. I mean, depth-wise and stuff like that, goaltending, they're the better team. But Edmonton just kind of has that going right now. And it feels like they've kind of solved a few of the things that Florida's been able to do to prevent them to score in the first few games, obviously. And they've also, on the back end, kind of worked out their kinks as well. Splitting up Nurse and Ceci was huge. I don't know why they were even together in those first 2 games. There was plenty of data to suggest that was a poor move. So can Florida make the adjustments, I think is the biggest thing, because it seems like they haven't figured it out yet, the best way to really start getting back on their offensive game and getting pucks deep and really controlling the offensive zone. They had flashes in that last game, and it felt like it was inevitable that they were going to tie that game. Tkachuk looked fantastic. So sidewise, I don't know. I feel like I have to take Edmonton at home if you're forcing me to take a side, just because they were so dominant all season at home, and this just feels inevitable at this point that we're going to Game 7. I just have such a hard time believing that we've gotten all the way now to Game 6 here with a 3-0 start to the series, and Edmonton's going to lose this game at home tonight. It doesn't feel right, If they're going to lose, and it's got to be in Florida in Game 7, I think. And honestly, I think Game 7, regardless if that does happen, I don't feel that bad about taking Florida in Game 7 if it gets there. I know a lot of people are saying at that point, like, Florida's toast, they're done. Like, I don't think that's the case. I know that you're going to get the yips, you're going to be scared and stuff like that, and I still think they're going to have that advantage, that home ice advantage and stuff like that is going to be huge in Game 7 if it gets there. So, yeah, give me Edmonton tonight.
Is Edmonton's strategy now to take a penalty early in the first period so they can score shorthanded? Is that the script for Game 6 here? It feels like it.
What the hell's wrong with Florida's power play? I mean, is it just Edmonton's PK so good, or I don't. It's weird.
Their power play has not been great all season, actually, the Florida one. So it's not terribly surprising. It's strange. You would think it would be dominant, but
with their depth, they have.
Yeah, but they've never been a very big, especially across the playoffs. Their power plays has not really been good. I think the Rangers series may have been their best series for the power play.
Yeah, I think they made a change tonight though, to that top line. They took out Montour and they put Oliver Ekman-Larsson in there. So that could be something that to kind of take a look at if you're looking to bet anything power play point. So,
yeah.
So, question, friends. Edmonton to win the series is plus 275 now. I do have a Stanley Cup bet for Florida. I might as well match and make sure I win something, huh? I should have done this when Edmonton was down 3-0 and not get greedy about it.
If you're going to hedge, tonight's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get that money line at the same price in Game 7. You know,
it'd be a pick on probably Game 7, I think.
Yeah.
Or
and the McDavid Conn Smythe option's kind of gone.
Yeah, you didn't bet that pre-series?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
We talked about that game 5.
We all talked about it. Yeah.
McDavid was 7-1 to win the Conn Smythe before Game 5 happened, and now he's minus 360. We looked at just a second ago. So that market is certainly off the board. Regardless, it feels like if Florida wins and closes out tonight, McDavid's still going home with that trophy based on the odds and kind of his overall play. Let's get into a few player.
I think a Bob shutout would. I think a Bob shutout would lead into Bob winning it.
No way.
No, you don't think
so.
anyway.
No,
you can't.
I
man.
don't know. A shutout?
No, I've been anti-Bob this whole as far as the Conn Smythe goes for like this.
Okay,
what
about a 5-1 win with a Barkov Hattie?
You're talking about a guy that had like no one has done this. Like Lemieux was the next closest guy. What was that, like 1995?
Yeah,
it's 1,000 years ago at this point. You know, it's ridiculous. You know,
no, I guess I'm mostly playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, no, I know, and honestly, like I'll be honest with you, I have McDavid and I have Barkov, and I hedged a little bit. I put a little bit of money on Bobrovsky and a little bit on Tkachuk, just because like I don't want to end up empty-handed, but.
Yeah.
The reality is, I mean, this is like a record-breaking historic season from him. And like Gator was saying, it's like he would be like top 10 on a few NHL rosters for their whole season just in his playoff totals. So that's
top 5.
Ridiculous.
Top 5 on a few.
Ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Insane.
Yeah. I don't think a goalie has won the Conn Smythe getting pulled in a game.
Really?
If I was a betting man, a goalie winning the Conn Smythe did not get pulled in the Stanley Cup Finals.
In the finals. I'm sorry. I thought you meant through the whole playoffs.
No, in the finals.
Okay.
I don't have any stat to back that up. That's just my intuition on that. So
and there's that post I shared with a couple of you guys too, that all the guys that won in the last few years were like plus or 0.94 or better save percentages, and Bob's like not even close to that. So even with a shutout, I mean, come on, it's just those guys were otherworldly. He's been good in stretches during this playoff run, but not that good.
Man, McDavid was plus 700 before last game.
It's so stupid.
So
stupid. Why did I not have
it for like 5 minutes too?
I'm just like writing down lessons learned. Yep.
Yep. That's how it always goes.
Yep.
All right, Adam, we'll kick it off with you. What player props are you looking at in tonight's game?
Yeah, so kind of talked about it earlier. Just I've been kind of dabbling in this first period shots on goal kind of market. I think there's some value. You can same game parlay, 1 and 1. You can do 2 if you want to get crazy. And the thing that I kind of like about it the most is you can actually kind of do mid game too, which I kind of like. Second and third period when they're trailing, the markets have kind of shown a little value there. So I think Florida's gonna come out hot in the first period. I think Paul Maurice has got these guys kind of focused. They've already did this travel once before. I think that's a big advantage for Florida. So I have a couple props here. So just for their team total shots on goal, I have 10 plus for Florida to record 10 plus shots on goal at minus 106 on FanDuel. I think this is a great bet. I'm kind of taking away the Skinner saves because I think one another bet of mine is over 1.5 in the first period, which I'll get to here in a minute. But I really like this Florida to come out strong. Albert Ekman-Larsson also to record 1 shot on goal is plus 150. Again, he's moved on to that top power play, and I don't think the books have kind of caught on to that. So again, he's kind of like the quarterback on that thing. So all it takes is 1 power play for 1 shot for OEL. I think he scored last game, and he's just he's not afraid to shoot. So he's been around. He knows how to quarterback a power play. So things we got some good value there for first period shots on goal. And then I also like Carter Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe 3 plus. I actually have him laddered up to 4 plus at plus 140. Or actually 185. Sorry about that. But I think Carter Verhaeghe, when he moves up to Barkov's line, they just have this chemistry together. They play really well together. And he's also the shooter on the power play. So again, I think Nick Cousins, being moved into the lineup can draw a few more penalties for Florida. He's just kind of like that pest that I wish Evander Kane was in, because then they really get an extra power play for Florida. So but yeah, so I think Carter Verhaeghe, he's the shooter on the power play, and I think he gets going again tonight, being put back up on Barkov's line. So I have him for 3 and 4 plus shots on goal. So those are my targets for the night.
I like both those for sure. Betsky, what are you looking at in terms of player props?
I'm going right back to Tarasenko at 3 shots for kind of my more juicy, spicy one. That's plus 165. He's hit it, I think, in 4 straight now, and I think it's 5 out of his last 9 games, I believe. I think it was 4 out of his last 8. Well, it may have been 5 out of his last 8 before, so now it's 6 out of his last 9. Something's working right there. I think that he's able to just kind of capitalize on those mismatches. He's only averaging around 4.5-ish shot attempts. So I'd like that to be a little bit higher, but he's been so efficient with it that I'm just going to keep riding that train. I really don't see any reason not to. His 1.5 is one of the better parlay pieces from this game. If you shop around, you can still find McDavid 2 points at minus 135. So if you want to kind of take part in history, it's kind of feels like you got it, right?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Definitely laying off saves tonight, though. That has been too much of a wild ride. I can't stomach it anymore. I'm not going to touch that. I really like that OEL first period shot.
I agree.
I think I have to jump on that. Was that on FD? Did he say?
Yeah, FanDuel.
How? I didn't even realize his market was open.
They only have it for that. Well, no, they have.
No, they have his normal shots. His
Yeah.
2 shots is plus 120.
Yeah, that's
amazing. Yeah.
So it seemed like they actually mentioned during the broadcast they had made that shift, and I think it was in the 3rd period after he had that snipe. So I think Maurice saw something in his game, kind of like stepping up, providing more of like an offensive presence. It's weird seeing Montour hasn't like really been productive this series.
I think he's hurt
postseason.
He's got to be hurt.
He's kind of been missing since the Boston series. So
Yep. And Forsling, I feel like, has just been asked to play a totally different role. So I think we're seeing, So I think we were seeing a little bit of that. I'm sorry, I did not realize Verhaeghe got bumped up to the first line again. So I love that 4 shot look too. He's a little bit better at home. But he's also streaky, and he just hit 2 in a row. And I think he had, if I remember correctly, 6 attempts on both. So
I like that. Yeah. That was Verhaeghe. What, 1 shot in the first, 2 shots in the first period?
Just
no, I
just
like
shots.
Just game.
4 shots,
just
for
4
the
shots
game,
total.
4 shots in the game. I really like that. I put a parlay together. I kept him at 3. I didn't realize he had that bump, and so I had already liked him kind of at 3. So taking him at 4 is no problem to me. And again, this there's a lot of game scripts for this one to lead into shots. Now, we have seen kind of conservative games in those elimination games at the end of these series. But that's the nice thing about shots is it could be a 1-0 game with,
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen 2 elimination games in the past too. So we've kind of seen how those go. Franco, what player props are you looking at?
I'm definitely grabbing that OEL one. I like that a lot. He was very noticeable in that last game, and we'll see if he stays on that top power play, but I can expect more minutes from him in general. I think Maurice knows that, and especially if they're trailing. Like I kind of want to see Edmonton get a goal early, because that's just going to feed into all those props for the Verhaeghe shots and stuff like that. So I tend to agree with you as well, Adam, on the over in the first period. I like that. The value's there. Again, if Edmonton scores first, I'd like it even more. I'll probably sprinkle it now and just hope Edmonton gets one, because I think if they do, then we're definitely going to go over in the first. I don't see it being 1-0 Edmonton after the first period. So I do like the OEL 2 shots too, just because I feel like that's a good price. Otherwise, I'm looking at Yeah, McDavid 2 points is minus 132 on FanDuel. I don't mind that. That price is good enough for me, just from what we've seen. I don't mind Kachuk 2 points either. We saw some flashes of life out of him in that last game, and that line just looked fantastic once Maurice shifted Rodriguez back down to his line and Verhaeghe back up to Barkov. So plus 260 on FanDuel for that. It's a nice little sprinkle there. I like the value there.
Yeah, I talked about this same game parlay, game 5, I believe, and Kachuk over 2.5 and Tarasenko over 1.5, plus 146. It was plus 150 in game 5. Those two have just been on fire, so I don't know why I would hop off that tonight. So I'm probably going to run that back. Any other looks here? We talked about Bennett and Rodriguez shifting down to that second line. Is anyone taking their point props tonight?
It's hard to not want to take Bennett point props. Yeah. I am a little hesitant just because of how low scoring these elimination game 6, game 7s have been now. Okay. But yeah, you could probably tempt me, if we wanted to throw a little parlay together, that'd probably be the way I'd want to do it rather than a straight.
Yep. Anyone looking at, go ahead.
So just a few more, there's actually one guy that I actually have a couple props on tonight. And just because I think he's playing, I think he's a little bit healthier somehow in the middle of a series. He's automatically a little bit healthier and he's just playing with a little more confidence. But Darnell Nurse has actually really stood out the last 2 games. I didn't know if anybody was going to bring him up or not, but his over 2.5 block shots plus money. Yeah. He's had 5 in his last 2 games. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's averaging 20 minutes a game at home, plays a little bit more. I think he's on that first penalty kill unit as well. So I love that plus value at plus 100 is insane. Also, his 2+ shots, they just opened up the market. It wasn't open this morning, kind of like the OEL as well. His 2+ shots is minus 110 it's a 60-minute line. I don't see it on DK. I don't see it on MGM. So I'm going to take that at minus 110 for Darnell Nurse. He had 11 shot attempts in I think it was game 4. Yeah. And then he also had 3 in his last game and had all 3 on net. So he's one of those players that just chucks the puck at the net, doesn't necessarily want it to go in. I mean, he obviously wants it to go in, but he doesn't have the intent of every single shot getting to go in. So I like that volume. So I'm going to sprinkle on that. And then he's also got a 1+ shot on goal in the first period at plus 128. I'm going to do that as well. So it'll probably be a full unit on that minus 110 and then a half unit on that probably his block shots and then his first period as well. So really like Darnell Nurse tonight.
Yeah, I was the guy who was just going to bring up. So I'm glad you got me in before that. So that's perfect. Any other sides, totals, player props that you guys want to bring up for tonight?
It's crazy how many shot props FanDuel's offering compared to DK. I'm kind of looking through it right now. And one that pops out is Connor Brown. I feel like this guy gets a breakaway every freaking game. Now, is he going to hit the net or is he going to miss? Because he's very good at doing that as well. But I mean, just one shot, again, like parlay piece, obviously, minus 240. One shot in the first period is the hell was it? Plus like 240 or something like that. Plus 215 for one shot in the first period. So if we are liking that Panthers first period power play opportunity, maybe he's going to get another breakaway on the penalty kill. So
I don't Connor Brown first goal scorer.
On Puckett the other day we were talking about first goal scorers and Sweatpants mentioned Connor Brown kind of as a joke, like we gave off a kind of our favorites and he's like, no, or you know how it's going to go. We can just sit here and talk about it and it's probably going to be a Connor Brown in the end. And then of course,
if there's a market for shorthanded shots, he's your guy.
That would be ideal.
I don't think we're getting that, but maybe we can talk to FanDuel or DraftKings into next season. All right. Any other closing props, plays? We will put out a graphic of all the ones we mentioned for anyone who's missed it. But last call for any plays tonight.
I have a two-leg same game parlay. I am actually running the under Montour point and shots on goal. You can parlay this on DK. It's just he honestly he's still going to play minutes, but I don't think you just kind of mentioned it too. I think Maurice knows that when somebody's struggling, if they're not healthy. So I'm just going to go as under point, which is minus 200 by itself, and then minus 2.5 shots on goal, which is minus 166. I think it is. You parlay them together, it's plus 124 on DK. So just a half unit bet on just Montour just being not healthy. I don't think so.
Has he come close to hitting that 2.5 shots on goal mark?
He hit it. He hit it last game, but that was game
Okay.
script. Pretty much basically.
Right.
I think he's only hit it once this entire series.
And we know he can miss the net like 1,000 times. He could have 7 attempts and only hit once.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
Adam, we appreciate having you on. Do you want to shout out your socials so that people can find you?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much, you guys, for having me on. I really do appreciate it. It's kind of nice not being in the chat for once. It's kind of nice being on.
Yeah, you're usually pretty much on the show.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it though. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Adams Digest. Just throwing out some plays, and we're in a Telegram with ET Analytics. So throwing some plays out there. I got my full card up there right now. So thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks for
Franco
coming.
Betsky.
You go, Franco.
Franco the Banker on Twitter, and thanks for joining us today, Adam, and thanks guys in the chat. We got an active chat tonight, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm Gretzky Betsky's on Twitter and part of the Parlay Science Discord and Clean Hits blog, and I am running over to Betting News to be on Puckett now. So if you want to keep on talking puck, swing
I'll
on
be in
by.
the chat.
Yeah,
Sweet.
exactly.
All right,
As
see you
always.
guys. I got a
All
dart.
right, see you, Betsky. And as always, you can
you
find me on Twitter at Gator Betting, at our podcast
Let's
at
go, Ice
Expected
Cats.
Bets 4. We appreciate everyone for listening, and this is probably our last episode of the season if Betsky's right. If not, we will see you guys for Game 7. Have a good one, guys.